Bakavanyi kwa ya shebe jahile kwa gaya.
Kan wasu iyayen an fita wajen nema aka kashe su a can aka kwashe su aka je aka zubar da su gawan naka baka samu ka gani ba.
The aftermath of insecurity in Borno and Benue states has created a huge humanitarian crisis with millions of internally displaced persons in both states. The crisis, which have affected women and children, with many rendered widows and orphans, is as a result of neglect and sharp practices by aid workers that has left these vulnerable IDPs in a state of psychological disorder. This is what life feels like in Daudu camp, located in Guma local government area of Benue State, some few kilometers away from Makurdi. The camp is housing over 5,000 internally displaced persons. The people will have to make up for themselves and try to stay alive. There is no better way they understand life rather than what is playing out before their very eyes. This is the best they can get from relevant authorities who seem to show little concern. Ironically, they interact with mosquitoes as their closest companions. They are open to the world with no security operatives to protect them in terms of surprise attacks. The conflict between farmers and herders has deteriorated the state of living of residents who were productive farmers. Instead of farmers going to the farm, the IDP camps are the common place to find them. 2 IDP camps we visited and their stories are the same. It is a story of neglect and loss of hope. They no longer go back to their farms and relevant authorities have neglected them. We listened to their plight, most of them widows and orphans, to find out what they have been passing through since they arrived the camps.
Yamba gwe vanyo hiya na hama ngwa hiya. Ya wodi. Uya wa me ka kwanyo ya nyo no bekpe. Terin bakamba gwe yamba woi. Mbu hamba amba yo. Ba tankal kwa. Samba azuwanyi. Kavanyi. Ikase chukuchuku na hankpa hamo na ziwanyi. Wamso wana gomotia. Waya bakavanyi kwa hiya shebe jahile kwa gaya shihitu maje. Na hankpa maningi hanyi.
Anyo nye jena he camp ha hebo. Adu egwe wor hamo. Bakason baga. Look, chicha, Bacasso. Bauta Carhoa. Cagomoti. A she and go so quiet. They have done it till yes and buffet yoga. Cava me kumaga, bam joa bam do. She yo by chicha, why yaban guga. At this I yanqua huga gaga. Ya do and hana kwa mama. Gomoti and no go obviously. Why yanqua no go away by Berry and Hillary.
The people have resolved to carrying out menial jobs as an alternative to survival. In many occasions, the minimal jobs are hard to even come by. So they sleep idle and patiently wait for their employers. Life in camps like this can be very traumatic. The environment do not offer them the opportunity to think of an improved way of living. They are limited to only the search for their daily bread. Our observation with the camp is, among others, lack of access water. They do not have an effective water system that runs within the camp. Therefore, they go to the streams as a source of their water supply. Our second place of call is Abagana Camp, located on the outskirts of Makurdi, the Benue State capital. At first, we are fascinated with the camp environment, but judging by the cover, you might think they are fortunate IDPs. Our anxiety was dashed when we took a survey of the environment and discovered that the stories were the same. First, we came across this set of people shaking off their trauma while playing cards. They told us this is the only thing they know how to do best when they are traumatized. Even the children have diverse means of playing around in order not to become a burden to their parents.
The reason why we are involved in playing this game is because being an IDP and a vulnerable somebody for now, we have nothing to be doing. So in order for us to sit idle and be thinking of bad things, so we are involved in playing this game in order to elevate our traumas, and then for us to, so at that moment, if you are playing the game, it keeps you busy, not to think about plenty things that maybe will cause you more trauma. So that is why we used to play the game. Yeah, before we came here, we were having doctors without borders on the ground. We take care of us in the area of health facility, but now they have withdrawn. They are no longer here. So as I speak to you, and any of our person falls sick now, we'll be looking for a way how to source money, and how can we source money, being an IDP without anything to do or any nearby farm for you to farm.
The story of this poor girl is heart-wrenching. Her parents were killed during a raid on their community, leaving her with 4 siblings. But while at the IDP camp, she lost 2 of them. Abagana IDP camp has a lot of children, mostly orphans, who are victims of circumstances. They are mostly around the fireplace without sufficient food. The people are engaged in laboring activities to complement their means of livelihood.
About the feeding. So people are used to when job outside. Other people used to come from the another local government, come and pick some more people here to job, so that they will come feed themselves. Yeah, we are facing the challenges of food now. This is what we are facing in this camp. And the other thing that we are facing here again, we are facing about the challenges of security, because now recently they come attack for this community house that are living here now. So this community, no people in that house again. So we are always fearing to stay in this camp. Yeah, they run away. They leave their house, run away. So even we are not feeling to leave ourselves in this camp accordingly, because now we are not having the security. So had it been that we have the security, we will feel sleep in this camp without fear.
Abagana has a source of water supply according to the IDPs. It has never been a problem. It is hard to imagine that the condition of IDPs in Benue State has deteriorated to this level. Our investigation reveals that Benue State presently has a population of 1,007,000 IDPs across 7 local government areas, namely Guma, Gwe West, Makudi, Logo, Konshisha, Oju, and Agatu. Out of this number, 46,887 are children between 0 to 5 years, while the total number of adults from 18 years and above is 194,740. Findings also show that the total number of pregnant IDPs in Benue State stands at 5,832, while nursing mothers are 6,228, and those aged between 60 and above is 1,770. The breakdown also indicates that there are 1,032 injured IDPs, 98 sick ones, while 218 are malnourished. Documents obtained by Daily Trust show that in 2018, the Benue State Emergency Management Agency spent 46 million naira out of 50 million naira budgeted for the rehabilitation of IDPs. Similarly, the state budgeted 170 million naira in 2019 for relief materials, but the actual amount spent was 0 naira, while 30 million naira was budgeted for rehabilitation of IDPs, but only 15,000 naira was spent. In 2020, the state budgeted 25.5 million naira for relief materials stroke camp management as well as rehabilitation of IDPs, but got 0 naira in actual capital expenditure. Under its 2020 recurrent expenditure, the budget for Benue State Emergency Management Agency was 112 million naira, even as actual expenditure of 79.4 million naira and 86.25 million naira were said to have been expended on payment to the aged, vulnerable groups and COVID-19 protective and relief materials for IDPs. Going by what is captured in the Benue State audited financial statement, the state government has been spending about 6 million naira on IDPs monthly between 2018 and 2020, with the lowest amount of 15,000 naira in 2019 and the highest in 2020, amounting to 166 million. While some analysts say Benue State Emergency Management Agency is poorly funded, based on what is captured in the state's audited financial statements of 2018 to 2020, others say even the funds purportedly spent by the agency do not match what is on the ground at the IDP camps. Earlier, the Minister of Special Duties, Mr. George Akume, had accused the Benue State government of deducting 200 million naira monthly for IDPs in the state. The Executive Director, Community Links and Human Empowerment Initiative, a Makudi-based non-governmental organization, Dr. Helen Tete, said the general condition of IDPs is not good, to say the least. Asked if she believed corruption was at play in managing the IDPs in the state, Helen said, and I quote, "Can you talk about Nigeria and leave out the element of corruption? The answers are obviously obvious. Ask for the total monies spent on the feeding of IDPs in comparison with the upkeep. Then you will find your answer," unquote. Efforts to speak with the Benue State Emergency Management Agency yielded no fruitful result, as the Executive Secretary, Emmanuel Shiwo, failed to respond to inquiries on the matter. He ignored questions sent to him via text message to respond to the issues. Our investigation done in Makurdi, we set out to Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. On arriving the camp, scores of internal displaced persons at the teachers' village camp, Bolori, as well as that of Bakasi, located along Damboa Road, filed out to tell their stories.
Gaskiya shi dai duk abin da za a baka dai ba za ka rena ba, amma maganan daidai babu dan abincin gejin shi kwana 10 ya kare. Yanzu rabonmu da abinci wata 2 da kwana 10 sai shekaran jiya aka zo aka bamu.
Musa Umar, an orphan, lost his parents to the insurgency.
Wallahi rayuwan ya samu matsala sosai. Saboda ƴan uwansu ma ba su rike mu ba. Kowa yi daban-daban. Gaskiya ban ji daɗi ba gaskiya sosai. Tun ina ɗan shekara 10 nake na fara rayuwa ni da kaina. Har zuwa yanzu.
Most of these women are caregivers who have taken the responsibilities of these orphans. They have peculiar stories to tell on how they manage to take care of these children, how the government is failing in its responsibilities to provide sufficient relief materials for their upkeep. With the night closing on with many IDPs to talk to, we forcefully took a break and made our way to the popular Bakasi IDP camp located along Damboa Road, Maiduguri. It is home to 41,805 IDPs from 6,831 households. It was set up on January 25, 2015 and has over 300 orphans and over 3,000 widows. Like elsewhere, the IDPs here have tales of sorrow and anguish to tell. They say food is in short supply. Sources at the camp that didn't want their faces on TV told Daily Trust that banditry in the northeast and northwest has contributed to the shortage of food to the camp. Food supplied here used to be purchased from Kebbi, Zamfara and Katsina, but with the rising incidences of banditry there, farmers no longer produce food. This has not only led to a shortage of food, but also its high cost, and it has affected supply to this place, said an official at the camp who wouldn't want his name revealed. The official also revealed that the pathetic situation at the Bakasi camp had forced female IDPs into prostitution as a means of survival, a development that has resulted to several unwanted pregnancies.
I'm right here at a market called Kaswan Yelwa. It is located right in front of Ramat Polytechnic here in the heart of Maiduguri. And what happens in this market is that items that are supposed to be used by IDPs in the camp are sold here, as you can see. The marketers here told me that they collect the items from the ITP, they buy them from the IDPs and come here to sell them. Okay, kuma a cikin IDP kuma IDPs kenan.
Ba a kai mana abinci. Ana kawo ma an wata biyu za kai. In an kai mana din ma bai wuce wani ya kwana biyu da shi ba kwana 3 abinci ya kare. Yasa muke zuwa muke sayowa wannan kayan mu ma dan mu samu abin da za mu ci.
Nawa ne suke sayar muku da kayakin nan?
Wannan kayan muna so wani muna samu riba 100, wani riba 200, wani riba 500 haka muke samu a cikin kayan muke samu na abinci.
Okay.
Ana yin bara suka hana yin bara. Shine kuma muke wannan sana'a ta ne yanzu.
Okay.
Daily Trust also found that sharp practices by the Borno State Emergency Agency has contributed to the deplorable conditions of IDPs in the state. A humanitarian worker in Maiduguri who spoke to us on the condition of anonymity accused the Borno State Emergency Agency of shortchanging IDPs in terms of food and other supplies. He further stated that corruption is perpetrated by SEMA staff who keep food meant for IDPs in their stores and not distribute to them. Instead, half of the food items meant for IDPs are distributed to the staff, while fake and expired food items are given to IDPs, he said. They even package the food in bags and sell, according to him. While reacting to these allegations, the Borno State Emergency Management Agency has, however, denied allegations by the IDPs of food shortage and diversion, saying they are unfounded. The Borno State Commissioner for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement, Engineer Mustafa Gubio, who also reacted to some of the allegations made, said a state government has constructed a total of 10,000 houses for resettlement of IDPs across the state.
Well, rehabilitation of IDPs is quite numerous, because as we are returning them, we'll make sure that we give them what we call the starter packs. After reconstructing their houses, we will return them with a special package. We give them stipends or money so that they can now go and start off their own businesses, or they can now go and start up their own petty trading, or they can now go and start up the agricultural activities. Some of them will now engage in fishing activities where the community is there, where there is water for fishing. And therefore, it's not just like that we'll return them. We'll make sure that we give them something in order to fully take off the pieces of their life. We return them with package and then give them houses, and then we make sure that we give them food that will sustain them for more than 3 months before we leave them, after making sure that there is security in such communities.
Okay, and you just talk about... He also disclosed that 25,000 houses were reconstructed in communities ravaged by Boko Haram insurgency.
Looking at the cost of building material, a bag of cement is now sold at 3,700 naira or something. Roads, which we hit out to buy at about 2,000, is now more than 3,000 something. So therefore, for you to even construct one house, one block of house for housing 4 members of head of household will cost nothing less than 8 million naira. So when you multiply that times 20,000 or so, you can imagine how huge the number of the cost of that building is going to be. So we are spending billions of naira in making sure that, though we have mega resources, the government have other issues to attend to. But our governor is trying hard to see that the issue of reconstruction has not been stopped, the issue of resettlement has not been stopped. We are using the mega available resources to see that we reconstruct our destroyed communities, we reconstruct accessible communities to see that our IDPs have been returned so that they can now take care of themselves instead of depending on NGOs and government.
It would be recalled that in August 2020, Governor Babagana Umara Zulum had, during a meeting with members of the Senate Committee on Special Duties who were in Maiduguri for oversight on Northeast Development Commission and National Emergency Management Agency, reportedly lamented that his government had harvested a total of 53,911 widows and about 54,000 orphans. He noted that the unofficial number can triple these figures and called on the committee to quickly examine the situation in Borno State, otherwise it will consume the entire nation.